something to say. How are you? You know, I know I just saw you last week, but I missed you guys. You're like, well, you don't even see us. I know, but I love when you send messages over, and I feel like it's a way for us to stay connected. As much as I wish I could hug and kiss you guys in person, this is the next best thing.
Like, no, I only want to do things in person. But then if I did that, how would I ever meet Annie? Annie, who is here from California. Oh my goodness. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Let me go a little further back. I'm great. How are you?
I was just saying, I fought this for so long because I'm like, no, I only want to see people in person. But then how would I ever have met Annie in California?
That's a great example. That's a great example. Oh,
Hey, Annie, if you could do me a favor, maybe turn your volume up a little bit.
oh,
It's a little fuzzy. Maybe you can clear the screen. You never know.
is
There
this better?
you go. It's way better.
Oh,
Thank
great.
you.
If anything, I'll take my AirPods out. Just let me know.
Okay. Just speak loudly and project your voice.
I can totally do that. Sometimes I'm trying to tone it down, so I can
No,
definitely
we want
talk.
we want you raw and beautiful. All right, before we get into that, Annie Delre, let me just tell them a little bit about you. I know I
Okay.
have it on. Annie is a nationally board certified health and wellness coach who has worked with hundreds of clients to help them achieve a life of confidence, wellness, and success. Along with multiple certifications, she earned her bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in integrative wellness coaching. I did not know this. Originally from New Jersey, she now calls beautiful San Diego, California, her home. Oh, I have so many friends in California, in San Diego. Do you know Hunter? You're like, yeah, I know Hunter. I mean, like, San Diego only has a few people in it.
Right. That's my neighbor. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you know, Hunter. All right, so let's start with your first sentence. When I asked you, what do you want to tell the women around the world in just a few words? You said, focusing on what you can, in capitals, control, and releasing what you can't control will change your life. So I agree. I feel it's something we have to remind ourselves of every single day. So let's start with, why did you pick that as your opening statement?
Uh, because I feel like that's the message I use the most while coaching. So I've coached between, sorry, am I talking too slow? Let me talk louder. uh, I've coached between
You're
five,
good,
am
man.
I,
You're good.
uh, I've coached between 5 to 600 clients, and that is the theme. That is the theme. Stress, where you choose to work, how you raise your kids. These, there's, you can't control others, but you can control yourself.
Okay. So I'm thinking of all the people going out there. I would say, are you sure? Are you sure I can't control others? Because if they just listen to me a little bit more, if my family just listened to me a little bit more, life would be awesome. And I don't believe that's true. So before you came on, I got a bunch of questions here. And the number one thing is, what about with your kid? I mean, numerous people, we'll call them all Sally Bell, saying they haven't lived enough. You know, they don't have the wisdom they have. So shouldn't they try to control their lives a little more? Now, I guess it depends on the
Mm,
age, too.
that was, I would say that first. Um, but also, there's only so much control. You can teach your kids morals, you could teach them about chores, you could teach them about hard work ethic, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. So, for example, children who suffer from addiction,
Mhm.
for the most part, parents are not teaching their kids to either do drugs or drink. Sometimes they do.
We hope not.
Sometimes, right. Sometimes they learn that
In most
behavior.
cases, I think you're right. In most cases, yeah.
But at the end of the day, that child throwing a tantrum, there's only so much. What can you control? Taking them out of the store. What can't you control? What they're doing at that moment. You can tell them to stop. You can ask them to stop. Some parents do spankings. I don't recommend that, but for example, your kid goes to school. You can't control what they do in school, but you can control if you punish them after, or if there's restrictions on social media. That's another one. Well, my kid has this. Well, you gave them a phone, but there are restrictions that you can put on phones for certain people if you want.
Okay. So that makes sense to me with your next statement to follow, which is which is important. Once you identify what you can control, then immediately take action on those, because you'll feel so much better that, all right, this I can control, this I can do, and I can over there, so it'll make you feel so much better.
Yes. It's so true. It's so true. So for example, you can't control how your boss talks to you, but you can control the boundaries you put on. You can control if you report them or not. You can control where you work. That is a choice. I understand you may need health benefits. I understand you may need a salary, but every day you are choosing to go to that job.
So why don't you break it down, just a few things that, or even just one or two things that they can do every day. Do you have a routine or a system or a tool to remind themselves of that they are in control? Because I think that would really help them, like, okay, this is something you can do every day, just to remind you how much of control you are and the things you can't control.
One is the simple visual reminder. That means a Post-it at your work desk, on your bathroom mirror, on your kitchen, your fridge. So places that you will see. These are physical reminders. What can I control? What can I control? The other thing is just behavior change. So for example, clients that I've worked with more than once, they know what I'm going to say. They know I'm going to say, let's make a list of what you can and can't control. So because that's now programmed into them, they have the habit of, all right, I'm freaking out. What would Annie say? She'd say, make a list of what I can and can't control. And sometimes, again, a physical thing, I have them rip off the side that they can't control and throw it out, burn it, depending on if you can safely burn something. I don't recommend that for kids, but
yeah, I get it. I get it, because that way when you're writing it down, and I'm someone that journals all the time, and it really does help me sift through. And I go, wait a minute, what am I doing here? Like, this is ridiculous, you know? Like, that's not going to happen. So, number one, when you're feeling anxious, I want to make sure I got it right. When you're feeling anxious and overwhelmed, immediately make a list and write down what you can control about this situation and what you can't control. Right? Number one.
Number one, yes.
Number two, burn, rip, eat the other side of it that you can't control.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Give it to the dog. Okay. Then what? Give me a number three. Now I made my list, Annie. I know what I can do in this specific situation, Annie said. What can you control? What you can't control? I ripped up this side. Now what do I do?
Now, referring back to the list of what you can control, picking what can I do this second? What can I do this second? I can update my resume. I'm may not be able to start a new job tomorrow, but right now, what I can do is send an email to my network and update my resume. It immediately brings, number one, the feeling of control, but also peace of mind of, okay, I am addressing this. And also realistic. What can I do right this second? And what's going to take a little bit of time?
So, my son who has friends in, and the kid drives, but his license ran out. I can hide the keys so they don't take the car when I leave, right?
Yes. Yes.
Or take the keys with me. Now, they can't drive.
I've had a client, number one, take the keys, and number two, tell their child, if you take this car, I'm reporting it stolen. They just, I mean, they were at their wits' end with this, but they said, I will not hesitate to report this stolen, and I also won't bail you out.
Oh my, I love it.
Yeah. So that could change its tune real quick. I know.
Okay. All right. So I am a firm believer in that you can't control others. And the most important, the thing about be the change you want to see in the world. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but I so believe that.
Yeah.
Like, work on you, what you can do, and that's how you show up. So, for example, what would you say to this young woman who says, I'm a very positive person. They call me the happy person in the family. But besides getting rid of my family, my extended family, there's that. Whenever she goes to visit her family, they're very negative. They're very much naysayers. And they basically, in a nice way, I'm sure, I don't want to put words in her mouth, make fun of the way she is. Like, she doesn't know the way the real world would be. That, to me, and I'd love to hear your input on this, because that's different than your friends and your community you choose. This is your family. How much, do you want to be around them? And from what she's writing, and it goes on for a while, so we'll have to get back to you, but she loves them, and they're good people, but she, for now 20 years, cannot change that negative mindset. So every time she's there, no matter what subject they're on, you don't know the way things are. I don't know if they say that. I'm just adding this. Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing in that circumstance?
What do you do? Well, that's a big one. During COVID, that was a big one. During the elections, that's a big one. During the Black Lives Matter movement or any protest, these are hot topics of either not agreeing or just, as she mentioned, negativity in general. Yeah. So I would say, number one, you are choosing to be around them. So just taking some accountability of, at the end of the day, you're choosing. I get it's hard not to go to birthdays and holidays, but you are putting yourself in that situation. So let's say the answer is, well, I have to go, right? For whatever reason, they feel they have to go. You control the guilt often. You control the conversation. That's why they call them boundaries. What you could do is immediately stop and say, I won't engage in this conversation. You can set the boundary of, if we do this, I will not participate. I'll either leave the room or I'm just going to go home. People treat you how you allow them to treat you. So
good point. Good point.
Same with boundaries with parents, though. It can't just be talking. You have to do it. So when you say, I'm not participating in this conversation, you have to then not participate. If you say, I will leave, then you do leave. The beautiful thing is, we do pick our friends. We do pick our support system. So it's time to build another family. If your family is really making you feel uncomfortable, it's time to build another family. That's why we're adults. That's why we choose.
I love that. I love, it's like Build-A-Bear, build another family.
It is.
Now, a lot of that is similar to me in what I do, in that I joke around, I get up and go, time for me to leave, gotta go outside, go in the other room, and they know. Like, I'm not, and as much as they'll be like, oh, you don't know the rose-colored glasses you live in, you don't watch the news, I go, whatever makes you happy, but I'm leaving this conversation. And they know it. And it works. And that works. Number two, also, the community, the friends I have, they are like family to me. And I handpick them, and they build me up. And they, not that they're always happy and pippy skippy, but they do care about having more of a positive mindset. But it took me years to realize, yeah, I don't have to do that, and guilt is a strong thing. We're blood, right? We're blood.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I think it's really hard. But I'm glad I hear you say that. You are choosing still to go. Like, I remember one of my mentors said, who said you had to go to Thanksgiving if it makes you feel miserable? That doesn't mean you can't love them. But if you hate going, who said you have to go?
That's exactly it. That's it. And if you are feeling this guilt, it may be time to see a therapist. It may be time to unpack that a little more, why you feel in debt to these people.
Well, they did have you, sometimes.
That. But
you can throw that in there. But I'm with you.
And they definitely do, right? I raised you. I helped pay for your college. I bought you your first car.
Yep.
You're also
you owe me.
Mentally abusing
all
me.
I've done for you.
Yeah, that's tough.
You're right. It is tough. So let's say you have a friend group. You've had them for years. This young lady said, she's went to high school with her friends. Actually, some of them are from middle school. And as she grew older, she realized she changed. They didn't. And she's having a rough time because she's known her for so many years. Now she's in her 30s. To let go of some of those friends who she knows don't serve her well and don't wish her well. But she's been friends with them since middle school. Mm-hmm. She wants to know how can she control that situation, Annie?
Get new friends. And the idea of, this is similar to people staying in unhealthy relationships. Well, we've been together for 20 years. So you have to live another 20 years in misery? What are we saying here? And also that idea of who says you have to pick your friends? Who says you have to stay friends with someone for a long time? It's just challenging that idea of who is telling you have to do this. And if you're saying no one's telling you, then why are you doing this? Why are you telling yourself this?
Yeah.
And is it because you have no one else? Is that what it is? Because again, some people think or I don't think I said this out loud before, but some people think something's better than nothing. But that's not true. And the other idea is, and this is for people who more believe in like the universe or I guess God too, when you get rid of what doesn't belong, you're making room for what does belong. But the universe, the Holy Spirit, God, there's no room for these people. This good, because what you're doing is clogging it up with the bad. So it's time, it's like going through your closet. It's time to get rid of things. It's time to make room for better clothes.
Okay, for me, because I'm on board, I understand what you're saying, but I want you to clarify for everyone what you mean. Okay, here's the universe, here's God, spirit, whatever you believe in, and then here's people. How does that relate?
I think it relates to the idea of, let me think of how to word this. Almost like you don't have to do this all alone.
Gotcha. I'm with you now. Now I get it. Yeah.
And because we feel so alone, that's when we sacrifice. That's when we, and not in a good way, like, uh, uh, yeah, that's when we make poor decisions, when we think we're all alone, when it's just us against the world, we're fighting.
So true. So true. Yeah, you're right. And you're not in this alone. Okay. So what is your routine? They want to know, Annie, because they know mine, in the morning when you get up to get into that positive headspace. Like, what do you do to set your day?
Well, I spend it with my significant other, which I think plays a huge role. Spend it with my significant other. We wake up plenty of time before work, so we are able to have that time.
All right, tell me, how much time is that?
How?
When you say plenty of time.
So, for example, we'll be up between, let's say, 6:37, and both of us start around 9 a.m.
Oh, so you really do give yourself a lot of time.
Yeah, and we drink coffee, we talk. Most of the time, we go on a morning walk, and we get that beautiful fresh air, and we're able to, again, talk to each other undisturbed. We don't have headphones on. We have conversations. And
just saying, we have quality time. We're not listening to podcasts or music.
Which sometimes on the couch in the morning we will do our own thing. So, for example, I'll read a book.
Yeah.
But that's our bonding time. One of us will make breakfast for the other person, and I think that's really a beautiful thing to do with your partner. Just showing that love for them, giving them that gift. My boyfriend will eat anything, so I love feeding him because he's so grateful, and I'm like, how is it? Did you like it? And then he'll make a big deal of saying he likes it because he knows that makes me happy. So,
oh my God.
Getting love in the morning, getting love in.
By the way, that should be more like relationship also advice, because what a great way to start your day, having that quality time together. Maybe they're not going to get up that many hours in advance, but even just if somebody got up to have a cup of coffee, most couples don't even just grunt at each other in the morning, but just even getting up and sharing 5 minutes together of having coffee would be huge, let alone, 2 hours or whatever. I mean, that's awesome. And so because it's filled with so much love, then you're going into your day.
Right.
Feeling amazing.
It feels amazing. If you feel light, you feel happiness. Sometimes we'll just hold hands. We'll just hold hands on the couch. And it's these simple things, like couples who say they don't have time because they have kids. Well, that's when you wake up a little or 5 minutes earlier. Even if it's you don't leave bed because little nuggets will immediately jump on you.
Yeah.
It is saying, I am going to spend and give you my full attention, for even if it's 5 minutes. It will make a difference. Hugs.
I agree.
Huge difference.
I agree. Yeah. Even when I've worked with different couples, I say to them, even that acknowledgement in bed, good morning, how'd you sleep? It's not a lot of time, give it a kiss. Do you want coffee? It's that few minutes to check in with each other, especially if you have a lot of kids running around. And then throughout the day, just even checking in with each other. I think it's not time consuming. If you have the time, great. Like you said, that would be awesome to get up that early. But I get that a lot of couples can't do that if they have a lot of kids. But even in the bed, like you said, it's huge. Even if you just kiss the person hello. I had one couple that said it made a huge difference just giving their spouse a kiss and saying, what do you got going on today? That's it.
That's it.
It showed he cared. Yeah. Annie, how did you get into this? I mean, have you always been interested in how the mind works and self-help your whole life, or is it something you found in college?
Oh, definitely my whole life. Definitely. I came from a pretty dysfunctional family. And when you're around people that are a bit dysfunctional, a lot of times you want to know why.
Yes, yes.
Why is this happening? Or even, I'm one of 6 kids and we all turned out very differently. Why?
Really? Yeah.
And then I learned the difference between coaching and therapy and realized that coaching was what I wanted to focus on.
So do you work hand in hand with therapists?
Some of my clients see therapists. Some of them do, but not all.
I want you to explain to them, some people do know, but what is integrative wellness coaching?
Great question. So that is looking at your mind, body, and spirit. Some of my clients are turned off by the word spirit or soul. So just telling them the mind and body. Yeah, you're not losing weight because it's a mindset. You are having bad communication skills, and you're wondering why you have all these headaches and tension pain, and why you're not motivated to do things. What is your diet? Yeah, your diet is giving you brain fog. That's why you feel like this. How late are you drinking coffee? This is why you can't sleep. So understanding what a big role those two play in one another.
So do you ever have clients that come to you and say, listen, I just want to lose 5 to 10 pounds, Annie. I don't want all that rest of the stuff.
Yeah, especially my engineers. My engineers are like, don't talk to me about the unconscious mind. I don't want to hear it. Like, don't. And then, depending on their personality, I'll say something such as, and how's that working out for you?
Right.
Or
Right.
how long have you been struggling with this? What have you tried? And how long did you try it? Because eating an apple a day for a week and then no longer eating any fruit ever, or you're getting your sugars from a Snicker bar and not natural sugars from fruit, like, was that working for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Hey, listen, you got a good system. You don't need me. You know, if it's working, it's working. But how many times have you tried the same thing and it's not?
Yeah.
You know? So what advice, because I got a lot of questions about this, and we have to wrap up soon, but what advice would you give someone who yo-yo dieting, tried to lose weight, gain it, lose weight, gain it? What piece of advice would you give them? Where would you tell them to go?
I would tell them, get clear on your why. Why are you doing this? Because it may not be a strong enough why. So some whys that I found are very successful is someone that says something such as, I'm having grandkids and I want to be the grandparent that can sit on the floor and play with the kids. That's a strong why. That's a big why.
Yeah.
Well, you know, my mom died of a heart attack because of her unhealthy living style. My why is, I don't want to be her. I'm getting around the age she passed away. I don't want to do that. So these are strong whys, right? Almost fear based, but also it's not, I want to look hot in a bikini, which it can be your why, right? That can be it. But, or I want 6-pack abs. Well, and not that can't be a goal, but do you really want a 6-pack abs? Or do you want to feel fit? Do you want to feel like that you can tone?
Point.
Is it to that you want to hike and not like like, what is it that you why is this even important to you? And is it that important? Is it really? Are you ready to sacrifice? Because this means potentially changing your diet. Potentially, right? This means,
yeah.
You may have to give up binging Netflix at night. You may have to go on a walk. You may have to get 3-pound weights and just do a little weights in your house. You may have to give up wine.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't say that's true, Annie. My client. Oh, no. No, I get it. No, I'm kidding. People, don't worry. You may not have to give up wine, or you may. But you're right. I think it's really, your why. What's motivating you? And are you really willing to do what it takes to get it,
Yeah. Are you ready to get out of your comfort zone? I get it's comfortable, but your comfort zone is what's not making you reach for anything. You're not leveling up. You're staying in a comfort zone.
Yeah. And it's okay. Like, if you're healthy and you're happy and that's what you want, but it's only like when they say, no, I don't, and you got to come to peace with one or the other. All right, Annie, well, we have to go. I'm so happy we had to go. It's time to leave. I really enjoyed talking to you.
You're great.
Thank you for coming.
You're great.
On. Yeah.
Yes,
this was fun. I love it. I agree with everything you say. So before we go, tell them how they can find you and reach you and work with you.
I would say go right to my website, my first and last name.com, anniedelre.com. I am on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, but not a big social media gal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, I got something to say, ladies and gentlemen watching. Don't worry if you missed this episode. Cool. I'm going to record it once we're done, and then we'll put it on every single social media platform as well as our website. Annie and I would really appreciate you sharing, liking, and rating it. And you know what I'm going to say. Until next time. Toodles. Bye, Annie.